Hi guys, welcome to Lisa Loves. This is going to be a really quick one for no other reason other than I am going to run out of recording time on my iPhone, which is a pain in the bum. So I'm just going to really quickly run down my monthly favourites. What I'm going to do, the monthly ones are going to be much shorter because I'm doing weekly ones as I go with what I've watched. The monthly ones is just going to be me mentioning what was dire and what I really enjoyed without any real detail. You will find detail in the weekly vlogs of the movies that I've watched and what I thought. So, monthly favourites in movies that I watched last month that I enjoyed. First off, I'll mention Rogue, which is the one about the giant crocodile. I just really dug it. I thought it was really good. A few smaller movies, horror movies. Darkness Reigns, which is a screener copy I got to... I don't know what my husband's doing downstairs. You can probably hear that. Darkness Reigns, it's a new horror movie. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. Circus Kane and Feral, two more that I really enjoyed that a lot of people weren't that keen on. Hereditary, how divisive is that movie? I loved it. A lot of people hated it. It's really dividing people right down the middle, that one, but I'm in the love camp. Love Simon. Love it. It's the one about the lad that's at school that comes out as being... No, he doesn't come out as being gay. He meets another lad anonymously online and they chat to one another. They're both gay. They both go to the same school and they fall in love. And they don't know who one another are. That was just such a sweet story. Death Wish remake with Bruce Willis. I really enjoyed it. I will admit I have not seen the original Death Wish. So kill me now. My husband has... and he loves the original, but he also really enjoyed the remake. He does prefer the original though. Incident in the Ghostland, everyone will know what that is. Everyone on, I was going to say on eBay, everyone on YouTube is talking about it. I really enjoyed it, by the same guy that did Martyrs and The Tall Man. I thought it was really good. Again, a lot of people are like, not sure. But I'd say 80% of people that have spoken about that one enjoyed it, and I do think it's well worth watching. It has a twist in there which I think for people that watch a lot of movies, especially horror movies, is a bit predictable, but still worth a watch, still really good. And it's not French like Martyrs, it is English. It's an American, but it's an English language. Every Day, which I spoke about before, a really sweet sort of Quantum Leap type of movie about a girl that falls in love with someone that changes body every day and wakes up in a different person's body. That was really sweet, I enjoyed that. Ocean's 8 at the cinema, that's the like Ocean's 11 rip-off with the girls instead of... I loved it, I thought it was great. I loved the Ocean's... Is it Ocean's 11, Ocean's 13? I know there were two. It's just exactly the same, but it's women. That's the only difference. But it was really good, I really enjoyed it. Starry Eyes, this is one that was spoken about or recommended by Sinister Cinema Reviews. And I loved it. I thought... I'd never heard of this movie. That's the one about the young Hollywood starlet desperate for fame. What lengths will she go to in order to achieve that? It's sort of like a selling your soul to the devil sort of movie. But it's awesome. It's really, really enjoyable. Some really good effects in there. Really original, really good movie. Tragedy Girls, which got slated on IMDb as being just the people in it are horrible, you don't care about them, blah blah blah. I really liked it. It's about two girls that are social media obsessed that have a website called Tragedy Girls where they talk about a spate of killings that have been happening in their local town. And they go to some lengths to... what way can we put it? To ensure that things keep happening and their website gets notoriety, and there are some awesome effects in this, guys. Some kills in this that are just brutal. I thought it was really funny. I like black humour and this is full of it, so I would recommend Tragedy Girls. Rec 3, I'd seen this before, but I think something was wrong with the DVD, so I only saw half, so I went back and watched it all. Really enjoyed it. Not as good as the first two, I will admit, but still really enjoyable. I did talk about that more in detail on one of my weekly review vlogs. The Night Eats the World, that's the zombie one where the zombies are completely silent and it's very drama based rather than horror based or gory based. Just following a man locked up inside a apartment block trying to stay alive. It's quite good. In Darkness, I enjoyed that one. That was one about, well actually I enjoyed all of the ones I'm reading out at the minute. It was one about a lady who's blind and who hears a murder. And the movie is about her trying to discover what happened and just what happens on the after effects of the death of a particular person. I thought it was really well acted, really interesting premise. The Endless. Oh yeah, that's the sci-fi one. That was really, really good. I'm not the biggest sci-fi fan, but that I did really enjoy. It's very hard for me to explain to you what it's about without spoiling it. It's a bit about time working in a kind of a different way and different dimensions, and it's really good. I recommend it. I would say that it is a follow-up to a movie called Revolution, which I have not seen as yet. I have it sitting to watch. I will watch it, but I really enjoyed The Endless. No One Lives. That was just a really straightforward slashery type action horror, which just was really good fun. That just makes me sound sick. No One Lives. That was really good fun. But it was. I think most people in the horror community would really enjoy that one. I talked about that in a previous weekly vlog also. It's about a couple that are taken hostage, and this group try to pick on them and rob them, and they have really picked on the wrong couple. That's all I'll say. So that's all about movies that I really enjoyed. I finished The Goldbergs' latest season, which I adore. I love The Goldbergs. And I finished The Staircase from Netflix about Michael Peterson, the real life court case, which I also really enjoyed. I had seen that previously, but they updated it and added some episodes. For what it's worth, for anyone that has seen it, I do not think that he's guilty. I know some people do. I think that he's probably not the nicest of people, and he's got very strange ways of coping and dealing with things, but haven't we all sometimes? But with the amount of evidence that is shown, it's like making a murderer. It can be proven over and over again how he couldn't have done. He couldn't have... Well, what they say is, if there's a reasonable amount of doubt, you cannot convict a person. And in this case, there was hours and hours and hours worth of summing up of reasonable doubt by his solicitor. I don't think he did it, but I think the fact that he is quite a unlikable character will lead a lot of people to think he did. But maybe he did. Who knows? That's just my opinion. So that was what I've mainly watched on TV over the last month that I liked. 2 movies I've got in the middle with question marks are Game Night and Mother. Game Night I liked, I just didn't think it was hilarious. And Mother, it messed with my head. I thought it was really clever. I thought it was incredibly well acted. I got... Right, if you haven't seen Mother, switch off for the next minute. I'll try to put spoiler above my head in red or something like that so you can tell. Mother is a movie that appears to be something, but it's something else. It's actually... it's meant to be a representation of the Bible. I caught this on pretty early on, because I went to Catholic school that was run by nuns. When I went, they sort of left and normal people came in, but we had teachers that were nuns for quite a period of time. So I do tend to have quite a good knowledge of the Bible. And we, you know, the bit where we have the 2 sons that turn up, which is obviously Cain and Abel, one kills the other. Everything in the movie is a reference to the Bible. It's incredibly well crafted, but I felt disturbed after I'd seen it. That some of the scenes near the end, what happened in the end was just, it messed me up. I thought it was an incredibly strange thing to want to make as a movie. It was heartbreaking, to be fair. It was a real... It's hard for me to say I enjoyed it, but it was an awesome movie. It was so well put together as a movie, but it left a bit of a bad taste in my mouth, if that makes sense. It was just difficult to watch. I'm sort of comparing it to Hereditary for that reason. Very, very clever, but some people just will come away thinking, what have I just watched? I felt that way about Mother, but I will give it kudos for being really good. I'm just going to list titles here. I'm not going to go into detail of movies I watched in the last month that I hated. House on Elm Lake, Open House, the remake of Flatliners, Set It Up, which is a romantic comedy, it's just a waste of time, The Heretics, The Toy Box, Leatherface and Tao. Those movies I would avoid, personally. I didn't like any of them. I can't even say, some of them were like meh at best, but I can't say I was a big fan of any of those. So I'll stop waffling. That's the last month worth of films and what I thought. That just seems like a big list of movies, doesn't it? So yeah, I will stop waffling. Does anyone watch these things? Honestly, who knows? What's my son doing? Can you hear that? Now you know why I don't get much of a chance to concentrate on stuff, listen to stuff, or do stuff between my husband and son shouting the house down. I'm on a different floor, incidentally, to them, and we can still hear that. Good God. Right. So with that, I will leave you with that complete muddled up monthly favourites. Hope you managed to get something of any relevance out of there. If you want to, let me see if I can think of some channels to recommend to you if you want better, more concise reviews of movies that are better put together than my waffle. Spooky Astronauts, really good reviews, really pretty girl, just spot on with the reviews, really informative. I'll put her link below. Screen Stars, Aaron, he reviews all kinds of movies. Again, I said before, really informative, tells you a lot of what to expect, doesn't spoil it. Geek Legion of Doom, who I do reviews for occasionally. Again, really like his reviews, tend to always agree with his viewpoints. Sinister Cinema Reviews, goes into a lot of detail about movies, but does tell you when he's going to give a spoiler review. Really enjoy his channel, and he has sort of opened my eyes to a lot of movies that I hadn't even heard of, to be honest. I'll leave it there. There are a lot of other review channels I've watched, but I'll be sat scratching my head trying to think of them. So check those ones out. They are really worth watching for up-to-date reviews of movies that are coming out, classic movies. Excuse me. But yeah, my mind's gone blank. Honestly, is there even anything in there? Who knows? Right, I will leave it with that. It's over and out from Lisa Loves.